formed a group called the Dual. They formed the Dual Gospel Trio. Yeah,
yes, and they were on tour. They toured major tours.
The major tours with Soul Stirring, CL Franklin, and Mahalia Jackson. Imagine, you know. And I think,
look, when you talk about Mahalia Jackson,
bro, you told him Mahalia Jackson, bro. You know what I mean? And
Mahalia Jackson is a very difficult person to please. You better be at a high standard vocally.
This is, bro, it's scary.
That woman.
It's the gospel's input into secular music is ridiculous. Yeah, and it cannot
don't forget this one. Don't forget this one. She used to tour with Sam Cooke too, you know, with the Stirrers.
Affinity Extra, be extra.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are personal and do not necessarily represent the views of Affinity Extra.
Yo, people, this is your boy here, Roger Moore here on Affinity Extra, celebrating gospel music of black origin. I am with the historian. We had a bit of a sabbatical. I've been having to do some studies. My brother Kevin Tomlin's we've been on it, guys. We haven't switched off at all anyway, so yeah. But there's been amazing things that I've, when you go, listen guys, we were coming back even harder. We're coming back with wealth of knowledge and asking questions that actually really ask the questions of ourselves. Yeah, one of the main questions I want to kick off today with, Kevin's going to come back with his book, yeah. But Kevin, something that's been repeatedly put on my table, yeah.
Yes.
We have talked about the success of American majority. We praised Bob Marley, yeah. But there were 10 million people taken from Africa into the Americas. Yeah, from South America all the way up to North America, yeah, to the US, yeah. The black creatives that we're talking about in the black music industry are genuinely from America, apart from the successes of Bob Marley, yeah. We're talking about America, yeah. You know what scares me, bro? Only 5% of all slaves were taken to America. 95% were sent to the Caribbean and South America, with majority of that being in Brazil. It makes you stand and think to yourself, hold on a second, what happened to them? What happened to them? Yeah, so if this small collective of 5%, yeah, and this is where, guys, we need to really study history and actually critically look at history and challenge the facts that we lean on. And the facts that I grew up with, majority of slaves were sent to the southern states of America. But the reality of the situation is only 5% were. So it's either we outside, and I say we because I am Caribbean descent, so we represent the others, yeah? They did a really good job of destroying our creativity, destroying our voice, and we still to this day don't realize who we are. You know what I mean? You look at the Brazilian football team, you would know that the biggest population of black people are in Brazil, apart from Nigeria. Nigeria is the only country which has has a higher population of African people. That is absolutely scary. That is the machine of slavery and the machinery of what happened to our creatives outside of America. But anyway, go on, brother, go on.
The interesting thing that Brazil is the 10th biggest music market. I repeat, Brazil, according to recent statistics, they are the 10th biggest music market. Actually, at one point during the 90s, around 96, before corruption and all kinds of things in Brazil, market was bigger than France at one time.
And the crazy thing with Brazil, and a lot of what we find is the Europeans that were born and bred and became mixed with certain communities in these countries. They become the ruling class, and they steal a lot from the African heritage or the African influences, because let's be real, bro. Growing up, seeing the Brazilian carnivals and festivals, you see the white women dressed up and doing their thing at the front, and you don't see many black women involved in it, but yet they're taken from our black culture, they're on the front.
You ever seen a black Brazilian woman
Not too many.
They're quite beautiful, actually. Extraordinarily beautiful.
Is it?
The few that I've seen,
yeah.
in South Florida and other places. Right?
Yeah.
And the few I've seen who actually managed to come over here and live.
And
Okay,
that's another guys. Sorry, that we'll leave it to the relationship discussion anyway. So get us out some trouble here. But listen, this is really makes me think of the diaspora, the African diaspora around the world, that the systems that were put in place to nullify our voice and our creativity and our power. Now, you're thinking to yourself, Roger, why have you started like this? I'm just showing you the new wave that we're gonna hit this thing. We are not going to stop talking about the music of black, the history of black music. The reason is, I'm showing movers and shakers in the UK. One of our podcasts that me and Kevin did, our last one that we did about, I'm gonna get it wrong now. It's not. Tombal. Is it Tombal? Tombal.
Yeah, Tombal. One of the music architects of the Philly soul sound.
Yeah, so I'm saying. So we did something on him. He's got nice long hair now and whatever. So Jamaican descent. Doing his creativity. I'm thinking if we knew about him, I would have been playing maybe a brass instrument today. Yeah, I did say, because I my first instrument was a trombone, but my dad was like, you can't play a trombone in church. Like, how does that fit in? You know what I mean? But the thing is, because it wasn't seen as something that we did, what we can be excelling. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm going to creators, and we don't even know the impact of this guy in all what we hear. In an orchestral level, it's like we don't have a presence, but we have a presence, but we need to push it forward and there. So part of this study, it's unique, it's powerful. Sometimes, guys, you don't recognize what we're doing until we do it, yeah? And this was just started from a conversation. I'll call Kevin, you like this, and he'll spend an hour on the phone to me, talking stuff to me. And I said, no, Kevin, this is too wild. This is too healthy, this conversation. This conversation, people need to hear our conversations. So guys, this is almost season 2 of our series now, yeah? And we're going to be going in because the power of knowledge no one can't tell me nothing now, guys. After the first series that I've done with Kevin, no, we done a bag of videos. Kevin's been a bit, 20 or almost 20 part series all about black artists, black influence artists, the black influence of music and whatever. And we're still scratching the surface. There's a load of people to go on about, but you have to recognize the fact that basically I ain't taking nothing from nobody in the UK about we are subservient to anybody when it comes to the music industry. We're not subservient. We have been taken, we've been robbed, we've been pillaged, and the least they can do is put us in our place today, and then we can talk about what they owe us. Yeah, we can talk about how CCM is basically a softer version of rock, which everybody knows rock and roll is black people. Yeah, so it's amazing how they invest into that only if it's a white face. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. You know what I'm saying, guys? It's gonna be absolutely crazy. And God's willing, we're coming up to the summer, so Kevin will be coming back up to Birmingham. The sunny thing, I'll be getting his breath up here, and we'll be doing some shows together. And the summer of soul, guys. We reviewed that video. We sat down, we watched.
My God!
And me and Kevin sat down, we watched that video. We reviewed that video for you, and the red shows that got Will Smith did the slap thing, but on the night itself, Questlove got a Oscar for that. Yeah, and that's what people got distracted from by Will Smith. Thanks, Will Smith, for distracting the fact that basically a hidden footage had to be extracted and put out there. So before, so sorry guys, that was a bit of a how can I say, long introduction for today, but I thought, listen, go season 2. Yeah, go.
I can understand you actually saying that because a lot of things has been held from us. When I go to the British Library, I start to divulge or go into many of the Billboard magazine, right? Billboard magazine. The Billboard magazine goes back to the 60s and probably earlier in the British Library, the ones that I've had the privilege of getting my hands on. And when you look at the statistics about what our people did, even when you think about the first major black label, before we go into my book here and all that, the first major black label of success was the label called Vga Records, started in the 50s. And that would be featured in my next book. That is going to be, that one is going to be dynamite, because you're going to see black classical string masters, classically trained string masters at work. And when you see how they influence the Phil Collins of the world and all that. Yeah.
Yes, Phil, we're going to expose you for the truth.
Let's go to this one now.
All right, then. Cool. Let's get guys. You know me already. I'm going to put Kevin's links in the podcast, so you can go there, check out the books. All you have to do is put down Kevin Tomlin in Amazon, and you'll find him on there. Still, I know you'll give him the title, but all you have to do is put Kevin Tomlin, Bishop for some, Bishop-elect Kevin Tomlin. Getting myself in trouble there. But you know what? Still, yeah. But the reality show is that you put that in Amazon, you'll see his books on there, and they're setting up there. This is just a teaser. What we do in this is a human conversation from the facts that is gleaned from his studies of doing the books, and he's continually bringing out books. But these blogs are not there to take over from the books. These are not read through the books. This is just giving you teasers of facts and figures, and the book is the one that you open up and go, this is the bad boy that them get information from here. So Kevin, just introduce the title and break down, because I can't even say this. I can't even say the city that his last one was from. Right. Anyway, so go on, say it, this book deals with the Icons of Muscle Shoals. Now, Muscle what? Muscle where? How you spell that, bro? Because
Icons of Muscle Shoals. Muscle Shoals.
So muscle.
Let me spell it for you. Let me spell it. MUSCLE, muscles. Yeah. Shoals is SHOALS.
Okay, Muscle Shoals. Okay,
it's a connection of cities in terms of Florence and so on, towns that
in Alabama.
Yes, that's right. Which is the main. Yes, it's a southern state. It's a southern part of this southern state of Alabama.
Okay, cool. Let's look at it right now. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and it is. It has a bloody past to do with racial violence, etc. But on the other hand, it has a rich past to do with black music. Okay. Yes. And the first international hit record to come out of that city, or to that enclave of towns, was When a Man Loves a Woman, bro.
Serious?
When a Man Loves a Woman.
Okay, it's like that. It's like
1966. By the legendary and the late Percy Sledge.
When a Man Loves a Woman.
Yes, that was a monster transatlantic hit, brother.
Yeah.
Listen to this. It got gold certification on the 15th of July, 1966. It was distributed by Atlantic Records. And Queen Ivy was the producer on it. And Calvin Lewis and Andrew Wright were the songwriters. I mean, Marlene Green was the other co-writer of it. And it was produced at Queen Ivy Studio. It was number one on May. It came number one on May the 7th, 1996, weekending May the 7th, 1996, for 4 weeks. It was number one for 4 weeks. And it also went number one in the Hot 100 singles chart. It was the first Muscle Shoals single from that particular enclave there era to become a million seller and a monster hit. Crazy. It was a monster hit running.
Yeah, bro. I'm already like, I never heard of Muscle Shoals, and this is what I'm trying to, guys. I'm just a human guy listening to Kevin. I'm getting taught as you're getting taught right now, listening to this podcast. Muscle Shoals is on the Tennessee River. I've never heard of that, bro, in my entire life.
Tennessee River, brother.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I've heard of Birmingham, Alabama. Obviously, being a Brummy, we kind of like we like saying Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham, Alabama is actually a bigger city. It's not too far from there, actually. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
If you ever heard of Huntsville, it's not too far. But also in Tennessee, just up the road, just as close as Birmingham, is Nashville. Yeah, so it's not too far.
Well, basically, it is a triangular hit-making region. You got the Tennessee.
Oh, you got Tennessee. You got Alabama,
Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah,
Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah,
and Muscle Shoals. These are the triangular cities, areas that create part of the Southern Soul.
So because the thing is, you've got very strong black populations in these area, because you got Birmingham, Alabama, which I know is a very strong area. You got Atlanta just in Georgia, just right next to it as well.
It's up the road, yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I would say a region of about maximum 200 to 300 miles in radius.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
This is a heavy, serious concentration of creativity, as well as I mean, look, in my book, such ladies as Millie Jackson had her 3 gold albums in that enclave as well.
Jeez.
And guess who was guess who came out of that, started a career in that area? Candy Staten started a career in that region. Some of her singles were so big, some of her singles that she did sold nearly 800,000 copies in.
Yeah, she got some big tunes, ain't gonna lie.
Yes. And don't forget now, you have Laura Lee as well that did something, and Etta James did stuff there with Tell Me Mama. Tell Mama. Yes, all monster hits. Okay, by the way, when Rita Franklin came on the scene, she became the second artist to have a number 1. Now listen to this now. When she came on the scene, let's give the figures. I just want to make sure I get it right, prof. You know, because everything I like to do it properly.
Yeah, no, that's the one. Because I'm looking at Candy Staten as you're looking into that, bro. And she and what they're saying about her early years. Obviously, she was born in Alabama, and then basically what they're saying that basically she was attending a Christian academy. Again, this is the importance, guys, that we know we're on a gospel station, but the reality shows gospel music was obviously her upbringing and her voice, and she was and her sister, and with a third girl, and they formed a group called the Dual Gospel Trio. Yeah,
and they were on tour. They did major tours.
The major tours with Soul Stirring, CL Franklin, and Mahalia Jackson. Imagine, you know. And I think,
look, geez, when you talk about Mahalia Jackson,
bro, you toured with Mahalia Jackson, bro. You know what I mean? And
Mahalia Jackson is a very difficult person to please. You better be at a high standard vocally.
This is, bro, it's scary.
That woman.
It's the gospel's input into secular music is ridiculous. Yeah, and it cannot
don't forget this one. Don't forget this one. She used to tour with Sam Cooke too, you know, with the Stirrers. I mean, look, bro.
The Soul Stirrers with the they got the Soul Stirrers. CL Franklin. I don't know much about that guy.
CL Franklin is Aretha Franklin's father. He would be listen. He'd be equivalent to the T.G. Jakes of today. When that brethren preach and sing.
Right.
He was in and he was. Hey, listen. He was a close friend of Mahalia Jackson. He was the minister that the soul singers and all of them come to for ministering and care and listening.
And he was a civil rights activist as well.
Yeah, he was a serious. I mean, Okay, we're talking about Rita Franklin's father now.
Cool. Okay, let's break that down. Sorry guys, we just conversating and moving to places. Yeah.
Aretha Franklin's father recorded material, speaking material at Chess Records. And Aretha Franklin started out a recording at Chess Records.
Okay.
Look, bro. So I just actually giving you a summary of the fundamentals of, we see the power of the music industry falls on the back of the church and the musicians.
Wow.
Because remember, even the jazz musicians, black jazz musicians, that Parker and all of them, most of them, their ancestors come after the church, bruv.
Yeah, man, of course.
And the Miles Davis, or the power of these instrumentation and their creativity. And we saw on the footage, it's the first time I saw the footage, Millie Jackson performing. The sister is something else.
Yeah, man.
Look, let us bring homage where I remember Millie Jackson mentored Aretha Franklin, because he used to come to the home. Why are you surprised that Aretha Franklin was so formidable? Being mentored. Remember, James Cleveland home was a stop-off point where they all socialize and pray and talk.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, man.
And when you listen to C.L. Franklin talk, bruv, the man was absolutely eloquent. To say. He was just he was just as comfortable in public speaking as the late Martin Luther King. Both brothers loved each other with great respect. So, it's just, and, a brother like Jesse Jackson could talk affectionately about C.L. Franklin. They both, have a high regard. It's just, I get excited even talking about him.
Yeah. But it shows that, the church was relatable. And it's the question that I really see. I'm not saying he's a perfect man. We're not saying Martin Luther King is a perfect man.
We need to get that straight.
We're not
none
perfect.
of the great men, even in the Bible, were perfect.
Man.
Excuse my language.
Yeah. That's true. Talking real.
They're not perfect. So please, just stop that foolishness. None of them were.
Because always says, but he did this. But the thing is, when you see their heart, they use the eloquence, they use the ability not only just to control people and keep them in the building and make them nice and sweet. He also saw the foolishness that was happening against his people and says, no, I've got a part to play within the community. I need to step outside the walls. And that's one of the biggest things we need to what we're encouraging as Christians to do is let's go outside the four walls. It's okay saying it in the message, but we have to practically do it. And the question is, are we? Yeah. And going back to what Kevin we touched about Kevin Staton, now Candy Staton and stuff, and artists like this, arguably you could say, oh, they left church and they're doing their thing in the gospel and not in the gospel anymore and all this business. You can raise all that, yeah, but the reality of the situation, they have been exposed to the truth. They grew up and they've been blessed. They understand singing excellence from being in part of the church, and that's something that I want to re-see back in the UK, because I don't see it, Kevin. I don't see it. I don't know if that seems harsh, but we don't see our versions, the Priscilla Joneses, the Jennifer Phillips, the Sonya, these there's another one called oh gosh, I forgot her name. These top singers, we don't see them. We don't see the younger singers touring with these top singers to understand the levels, and that's what people don't recognize. This is what I'm saying. We cannot go to the next stage unless we have I can't remember. You explain it best way, but like a generation transference. I can't remember. There's a way you explain it, bro.
It's called a creative baton change.
Oh, baton change. That's the one. A creative baton change. We have been inept to do it. So this podcast, these books are part of the creative baton change for our community. Full stop. You know what I mean? But go back into Candy Staten for me, because I know we love going off on subjects and expanding on little corners that we never touch, bro.
Before we Candice, well, this is interesting. Candice Staten started around the same time that Aretha Franklin came to Muscle Shoals. Interesting enough, when she arrived in Muscle Shoals, let's just do this. We talk about these two sisters simultaneously. When she came to Muscle Shoals, she was at Columbia Records before.
Oh, okay.
Rita Franklin, yeah, and she did some sort of standard and jazz bass, but nothing that actually featured the true diva or the true magic or the gospel element of this very interesting and shy young lady. Okay, yeah. Now, Kathy Staten is the one lady who could explain to you what Aretha Franklin was doing when she did live. Okay. She said, Rita, when Rita did a live situation on the piano or the keyboard, people were falling over. This is the level of impact this woman had.
Jeez.
She's just, okay, let's just go back to her first million seller. I never loved a man the way I loved you. Produced by Jerry Waxler, who was a Jewish white recording executive at Atlantic Records, because she left Columbia and she signed up to Atlantic Records. They didn't have any plans for what they were going to do really with her, but Jerry Waxler thought that she had the potential to become a serious contender, in terms of entering into the white market and so forth and crossover. Yeah. Now, the interesting thing about it, when that particular single hit, the story behind that single is very interesting, because it was recorded in a cotton belt. And 1960s, there was still segregation. There's still
of course, but
black brothers getting lynched.
It is now.
Whatever. Still. And so, Aretha Franklin with her then husband Ted White came down to Muscle Shoals. Yeah. The famed studio, which is owned by the late Rick Hall. Rick Hall was the engineer at the time. Rick Hall is the same white guy who actually signed Candice Staten and Clarence Carter to a contract. We get to that because the thing about the Muscle Shoals cannot be done in one broadcast. Okay. I'm sorry, bro. There's too many, a lot of activities.
guys, listen, we're cool for doing two parts, because, like I said, I can book it with Kevin again, and we can go into this, because we just said the word Candice Staten, and then we're flying into CL Franklin, and I think, guys, it's so beautiful to see how the community of the black community, whether it's inside and outside of church, link up together. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it still links together to this very day in America. But we won't get to the.
You can't really extract. I was explaining to Monique, the associate professor at the university there in Texas. I said, the church is so interlinked to the secular music community that will be when we talk about cutting edge. Even the young ladies, the black young ladies now, the new ones on the block, they got their forefathers, their granduncles and uncles, aunties, and so on, are linked to the church. It's almost breed into their musical DNA. It's it's difficult to separate each one of them. Separate it.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Look, I Never Love a Man the Way I Loved You was number one for 7 weeks, starting the 25th of March, 1967.
Jeez.
This is the mystery. This is the mystery of it. That very same year when Aretha Franklin got on the scene and started to explode, the record music industry went over the $1 million mark.
Jeez.
And this particular album that Aretha Franklin did in association with Jerry Waxler, the late Jerry Waxler, the recording executive at Atlantic Record, the legendary Atlantic Record. That very year, both the album and the single did 3.5 million copies. I repeat again, 3.5 million copies.
That's a whole lot of money. It's a whole lot of money.
Now, if you, I don't care you put it, brother, your first album doing 3.5 million copies that particular period, that's like that would be something equivalent to what Whitney Houston did with her first solo album, where we talk about it did 40 million. It's the same equivalence. To actually equate that in money, that is a lot of money.
Yeah, you know, for
3.5 million copies in albums and singles. And also, she was so impacting, in a few months' time, Atlantic Record renegotiated her contract, giving her a much bigger advance.
Jeez. And this is what happens when you hit the numbers, mate.
That's the thing I'm trying to explain to people. Once you hit those numbers, the other doors open, you know, because you're no longer being looked at as a black artist. You look at a very formidable creative entity. You might be looked at as a black artist, yes, but when money is beginning to exchange tables, the white executives sit up and say, hello, they don't like to lose money. I tell you, look, let me explain. Like with Clarence Evans was in a meeting with Quincy Jones and they were talking, and he said, listen, I go to the white brother because he has the money. It's just quite simple, and we see what kind of deals we can cut. It's business is business.
Yeah, man.
It's let us not be, you know, naive about it. This same thing our colleague with the gospel music industry, as I said, they always ask her, what is the numbers in terms of, numbers. They're looking at numbers. So when Aretha Franklin did that, and of course during that same period, she did Respect. Respect, that was the anthem for the females, you know, give me just a little respect.
Okay, yeah.
And not only that, that particular single was written by the late Otis Redding.
Ooh. So the Redding family got a few pennies from that one, then, you know what I mean? That's really good. But bro, you raised a subject there about, you know, writing, and I think want to encourage people, and gospel artists in the UK really don't like this, but they're like writing for other people. We don't like somebody else writing a song that they sing. We have to write out, and sometimes, guys, you have to realize that we don't always have to write our own songs that we sing and be successful. Challenge yourself as an artist. Am I good enough? If I'm not good enough, I will write with somebody who is good enough. And Otis Redding is good enough, but maybe he understood that, you know what, I've got a song here. It doesn't suit my voice, but it suits her voice. And I think we just gotta realize that I would say that control.
The interesting thing. He did record that single, but he did not. He had no ego to let Our Lady Rita Franklin record it. And another thing too as well. Around that time, of course, he died. I can't remember exactly, but it was 67.
Yeah.
But the black music community was so impacting, because remember, around that time that Aretha Franklin is making her presence known, the week before that, Love Is Here and Now We Are Gone. that is a million seller by the Supremes the week before. So the Supremes was kicking it big. Aretha, Otis Redding, Sam Cooke, and all of them were smashing the charts, and Temptation, that it pushed the gross earning of the music industry over the $1 billion mark.
I'm looking at Otis Redding now, bro. Yeah, Otis Redding, he died young, innit?
Yeah, so it's pretty sad, really, but that's another discussion.
Yeah. I'm just looking at it. He died because I'm thinking I hear a lot about Otis Redding, but this, you know what I mean? Look at it. I said, yeah, he died. Oh, I was like, oh wow, 26 years old.
Yeah,
One of the founders of soul and R&B and rock. You know what I mean?
yes.
Right.
He was. Otis Redding is a sort of different discussion altogether, actually, brother. I mean.
Yeah. We do a special. We do a special.
You find me talk about him in the book before, the Icons of Memphis, which includes our Green brothers. Well, there's another discussion because if you know the numbers of Al Green, it blows your socks off. Anyhow, right. Another thing about Aretha Franklin before we go any further. According to the BPI, which is the British phonographic industry, actually certify the albums. Aretha Franklin has over 20 certifications.
Papa. 20
listing where it's gone, and then with the 20 listing, I think the Amazing Grace album, I think is part of that listing.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, and that's going forward. Rita Franklin is the first black artist to have a multi-platinum gospel album, live gospel album.
Jeez.
With Amazing Grace.
Wow.
By the time the 60s came to an end, number one albums in totality represent 59 weeks.
My goodness sake!
From the first one in 1967 to 69, she had just the 60s, late 60s alone, albums total. About all her solo albums total 59 weeks at number one.
Wow. Wow.
And the soul and R&B charts.
That's mad, bro.
She's had over, according to the last figure I was told, she had over 14 Grammy Awards.
Jeez.
I'm trying to now. I need to check the figures. How many figures she sold, in terms of the thing about it. Rita Franklin. If you compare her to Mariah Carey, she hasn't sold a lot. That is true. That is true. But we need to remember. According to the RIAA, in terms of the top 200 artists, which Aretha Franklin is part of. He's only sold approximately 10 million copies in albums. 14 gold albums, 4 platinum, and 1 multi-platinum. But in terms of influence, she's a global influence with over 75 million copies sold globally.
Wow.
According to estimates.
Yeah.
Globally, that means in all music territories.
And the thing is, bro, let's be real. She was a stepping stone. Without her, there would be no Mariah Carey. Without her, there would be no SWV. You say you wouldn't have the doors open. Wouldn't be open for these guys to do R&B, to do guys.
No, because that's right. If it wasn't for Aretha Franklin, Candy, Etta James, and so on, hey, look, these sisters would still be. What would they be doing? Probably still working in McDonald's or somewhere.
Yeah, serious.
Let's be honest about it.
Yeah, because the thing is, these guys have to break stereotypes, and allow the fact that basically for black people to be in a period of where they're just getting used to us being some sort of entity. They really excelled in creative entity, and they really maybe without the creative entity but we clearly had over everybody else in the world, maybe we would have had it still to struggle to this day, you know what I mean? But our creativity has helped us, you know, break doors through, because they need our creativity, where they start to face the fact that basically they stole it up to that point, and now it's a case of they need us now to front what they've stolen, because we're the only ones who can do it a certain way, you know. And I think we just need to really emphasize that point. But just to because like I said, bro, guys, we try to keep these things to about half an hour to 40 minutes, so you can actually break them down and actually take away from it. It's clear that we have to do 2, 3, 4 parts to this, yeah, because we just introduced you to the whole area. I never even heard of muscle. I had to go on Google just to find you know what I'm saying,
muscle
show like guys.
This is a serious area, brother. This is a serious area, because this is an area that helped the staple singers to go to another level. I Take You There. It came out of this area.
Staple singers.
Yo,
staple singers. The gospel people go, amen, glory. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so listen.
I Take You There.
Yeah. I'll take you there.
Remember, as we're talking about the singers, we haven't talked about the session man behind them. Well, if you talk about the session man behind them, that would be blow your...
Listen, guys, we got part 2 for the session man anyway. So but the thing is, it's great for us to even touch today. We're touching. This is not about doing the book. We're here to touch the book, yeah. And we've only just touched the word muscle show, Candy Staten. We talk about the Franklins, Papa, daughter, and the way they really were powerhouses, you know what I mean, within black music and black empowerment. Yeah, it didn't come. Them two things didn't come separate, you know what I'm saying. And the thing is, one of my biggest statements I believe a guy got downloaded into God hit me with, yeah, where somebody said to me, when will black gospel music really stand on its own 2 feet in the UK? You cannot separate black empowerment from the rise of black gospel in this UK. You cannot separate them. We continually want to pretend that there's one without the other. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's not until we realize the importance of who we are and moving, we cannot stand around, you know what I mean, not do anything. And it's not about we were fist up in the air and I'm going to mash down the place. It's about being able to understand that you are representing black excellence. You are representing, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. We really represent that, and we represent that for people that's our colour and who we are. And I don't want to hear that Jesus, I don't see colour. That's a load of garbage. I see colour right now, looking at myself in the camera. I see a man who has colour, brownness, and I'm not gonna be blind to that. So it makes everyone feel happy. You have to see colour. We're not blind here. Don't insult people's intelligence here. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at with it. Yo, guys, we barely touched muscle shot. We barely went up one road and we get stuck there still, yeah. I put it in Google, almost crashed my Google. I never even heard of this place before. I'm seeing record shops, I'm seeing museums, I'm seeing old buildings, I'm seeing all this place from this one little town in Alabama. And also it's encouragement for me, being in Birmingham, you know, to recognize that, you know, again, we are talking about cities that are not New York. We haven't touched New York. We haven't touched Washington DC. We were touching we didn't even touch LA. You know what I mean? We were touching and even they have a massive part to play. You know what I mean? In the whole thing. So guys, you never know. You know, we're gonna have some great fun. Maybe in the next year or two, you see me and Kevin in the United States doing our own little thing about our research. Hint. You know what I mean? God, make a way. You know, that would be absolutely crazy.
Coming over and seeing our brothers over there.
Yeah, man, that'd be crazy, man. Going to some of the places and just, I hope it just go mad. But listen, this is Roger Infinity Xtra. We're here to celebrate gospel music of black origin. We're also here to celebrate the history of gospel music alongside my boy Kevin Tomlin, or my mentor. I would definitely 100% say that. And and we just touched what his book has opened up. And that's Muscle Shoals. Yeah, and check out the book. We barely touched anything today, guys. Forgive me if you listened to it and you thought that you guys ain't even got into it, man. We're just giving you a teaser because Kevin just to start to work out what the next chapter is going to be. Yeah, and we booked that in, and we're going to record that in the next week, and we'll be back on that, and we'll be back on this, and we'll be back on it, continually back on this to lock down Muscle Shoals, because it looks like it's a gold mine when it comes to gospel meets secular and how they're entwined. 100%, brother. Anything you want to close on, bro?
Well, the main thing to close on is that we are in the process of in the future pilgrimage to different places of significance, you know, and of course I'm working with you continually. But having said that, we must remember that Muscle Shoals was significant to the growth of Alicia Keys, etc. She, before Rick Hall actually died, the founding father, the musical founding father of Muscle Shoals, he actually worked with Alicia Keys and some of the original studio musicians. Because it was so influential to her. She loved Rick Hall, and as I talk about Rick Hall, you would end up loving him as a white brother, because he loved black music to its toe.
That's what we love. This is what we love, man. You cannot have, without advocates, we can't get anywhere, bro. It really is the show is, bro.
He was the one who built Candice Stanton's career. And Clarence Carter, who the blind artist, who did several monster hitting single, which one of them became a Grammy Award actually. His interpretation, and it was actually written by guys who worked with the Hollandos and Holland at the Invictus and Hot Wax label. That's another historical event.
Yeah. Wow.
So, as I said, we just begin to touch the surface of this triangular towns that create the Muscle Shoals sound. Yes, and you discover it in that book. And also, we're planning to do audio. So if you can't read it, if you have difficulty reading it, you can listen to it via audio.
Audible. You get me, guys? Yeah. Audible. My thing is Audible. Audible. Yeah,
so that's what it will be coming out in the next few weeks, and you know, you find it quite interesting. And this is volume number 3 of the 3 books. The one before that is the Icons of Memphis, and the one before that, the first one, which is volume 1, is the Icons of New Orleans.
Brilliant.
We finish there, ladies and gentlemen.
That's fantastic, brother. All right then, guys. Listen, this is Roger over and out alongside Kevin Tomlin. Big up to you, bro, and big up for your time that you give towards us anyway. So you're here on this station, and we're here to celebrate gospel music of black origin, and we're here to support and look at the history of black music in the UK. I know in the UK, in the world, you know what I mean? In the world, you know what I mean? There is a history in the UK, and we do try to hit it, but the massive things that the US has done is absolutely a fulcrum and a backbone and a blueprint for what we need to do here. Yeah? All right, guys, nothing but love. This is Roger over and out.
Rich blessings, brother.
Blessings, brother.
Hey, this is your bishop. This is your bishop from Rock Solid. Thank you so much for watching us on YouTube. Thank you so much for clicking and subscribing, and also sending these videos to other people as well. We are so hungry to get your support. So remember, check us out on our website, and also check us out on Insta, and wherever you want to find us on Spotify. You can play us all day as well. And just make sure that you are supporting this channel, that we are developing our agenda towards music of black origin, and that is gospel music with a message. So please walk with us on this journey. Bye now.